In the last video, we covered the spectral repair module. Now, I think it'll be a good time now to cover this instant process, as in this, it goes over two of the functions that are available in spectral repair, and it can really help you speed up your editing and fixing of your audio files. So as you saw, you can click here to enable and disable the instant process, or you can use the shortcut I to turn it on and off. And basically, what happens when you have this ticked is when you move over a selection, it will instantly apply whatever action you have selected here. Now let's start off with attenuate to show you what I mean. Now, instant process is going to use whatever settings you have set up under the attenuation section under spectral repair. So I'll just leave it set at these default options, and I'm using this dwind file that you saw earlier. So if I play back the beginning over here, there's the wind, and then you can hear some slight bird chirping up over here. Now I'm going to just move this to the side, and I'm going to select the wand tool. I can go in here and quickly just click on areas, and you'll see as I'm clicking on it, it's attenuating it by what is set up in the attenuation strength over here. I could also go to the square block and just drag around an area, and it is attenuating that selection as I drag around. So now if I play back, here recording a signal, you can see how it's removed those sounds there, and then when it kicks in back to the vocal here, you can hear those birds chirping. So just as an example, here was the initial state, and then when I go further down into the spectral repair options of the attenuation, or maybe I want to choose the horizontal selection and draw around here to attenuate some of the area in this low rumble. Likewise, you could also select the vertical and make selections, and as you do that, it's going to attenuate areas. So that's the attenuate with the instant process. Now let's just go back up to the initial state and look at the other ones. I'm just going to remove that selection and then go to replace. Now replace is going to work exactly how the replace function works within spectral repair. So I did cover that in the last video, so I'm just going to skip over that because now after seeing attenuation, we'll have a good idea of how to use the replace. So that's the two sections that are in the spectral repair module. Now if I go here, I can choose declick. So whatever I have got set up in the declick module is going to be applied. If I play back this audio, round about over here, there's a sort of clicking sound that I want to remove. Recording a signal where there's some wind. So where it says wind, I want to actually make a selection and sort of smooth out the declick in that voice. So now I've got this. Recording a signal where there's some wind. Let's do a bigger selection over here. Recording a signal where there's some wind. So it's slightly removed that click in the wind sound there. I could also use a de-esser there, but I wanted to show you how it works with declick and instant process. Here is the initial one, where there's some wind. And then after two instant processes of declick, where there's some wind. You lose a bit of the D in that word, but you can see the idea behind this. You just click over an area, and it instantly applies the module that you have selected. So that's declick. Next up, we've got fade. So with here, you can create fades as you make selections. And this as well is using any settings that you got set up in the fade module, which I will cover a bit later. But basically, I've got it set to fade in, and I'm going to choose a linear fade. Now, if I just make a selection, it makes a fade for me. And I can keep making selections to further add fades to that audio. Here, recording a signal. Now, moving on to gain, this uses the gain module. I can select this and set a gain amount. So maybe I want any selection to go down by -3 dB. Looking here, this is quite a loud bit of audio. I can make a selection there. It'll reduce the gain. And likewise over here and over here. So that's quite self-explanatory. You can sort of use that as a clip gain correction tool, just making selection over areas that you want to reduce the gain on. So that covers the instant process and the sections that you have available to you. Basically, this is a great tool to speed up your editing workflow. Just make sure that you turn it on when you need it. It's very easy to have this on and then open up one of these modules and just create a selection, and it applies it without you knowing. So make sure that you have this armed when you want to use it. But when you are using it, it really speeds up your workflow and helps you with your editing and fixing and correcting of the audio. Now let's move over into the next module.